Hi, my name is Ingrid Throgmartin. This is Algebra 1 and this is Unit 4, Section 4, Graphing a Function Rule. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up a table and we need to choose some x values. We need to be able to plug those x values that we choose into the function itself, and then we need to have some y values. Now the x and the y values together make a point. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick these values, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Now, what we've got to do is we've got to replace the x with whatever value we've chosen. So for the first one, we've got -4 plus 3, which is -1. The next value I plug in will be 2 times -1 plus 3. So that would be -2 plus 3, which is 1. Let's plug in 0 this time. 2 times 0 is 0, plus another 3 gives us 3. The next value I want to plug in is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. And then the last one, we've got 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 3 is 7. Okay, once we've got our table of values, then we need to draw up an x and y axis. So we're just going to draw two lines at right angles to each other. Make sure you put little arrows on the end and that you label these with the y and the x. Okay, next thing we need to do is we need to have, it's much easier if you have graph paper, but I don't, so I'm going to have to make the best of what I have. I'm going to try and make all my little divisions here exactly the same distance apart. Because if they're not, you won't end up with a very straight line. So even though this is hand-drawn and I don't have graph paper, I should be able to get a fairly good line out of this. Okay, the first point is -2, -1, so I go left 2, down 1. Now, instead of labeling these with the actual coordinates, I'm going to use a capital letter. So for the first point, I'm going to label it A. The second point is -1, 1, so it means go left, right, left 1 and up 1. So there's my capital B. The next one I'll label C, that's 0, 3. So that would be 1, 2, 3 would be about here. So that's point C. The next point is 1, 5, so go right 1 and up 5, so that would be around there. So let's label that D. And the last point is 2, 7, so that's right 2 and up 7. So let's label that E. Now I have to draw a straight line through all these points. Put arrow on the end because I just chose a few points. There's a lot more that could be chosen. And there we have it. We have a straight line. For the next function, I'd like to graph y equals the absolute value of x. And again, I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to choose my x values. So again, I'd like you to choose -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. In the middle here, I'm going to put the absolute value of x. And then I'm going to put my y value to the right here. So I'm going to replace the x with -2. The absolute value of -2, which is how far is -2 from 0, is 2. Next I'm going to replace the x with -1. What's the absolute value of -1? Well, it's how far -1 is from 0, so it's 1. The next one, we're going to plug 0 in, where the x is. The absolute value of 0 is 0. Absolute value of 1 is 1, and the absolute value of 2 is 2. So once I've done my table, let's draw the x and y axis. There we go, put arrows on the end, put your little division marks. This one's turning out a little bit better than the last one. You don't even have to have the same distance on the x as you do on the y, so long you're consistent. Okay, so let's graph the first point, which is negative 2, 2. So it's left 2, up 2. And let's label these with capital letters. That's my weird E. So this point's A. The next point is negative 1, 1. So that's left 1, right 1. So that would be my B. The next point is 0, 0, which is the origin. Next point's 1, 1. So that's right 1, up 1. And the next point is 2, 2. So that would be my E. And you can see it's not a straight line. If we join these two together, we'll have a line going this way and a line going that way. It's almost like the line got bent up on itself. So whenever you have an absolute value, it's a V shape. The last one I want to graph is let you see what happens when you have a y equals and it has an x squared in it somewhere. So again, I'm going to go through the process of choosing my x's. That's a 0, by the way. Plugging my x values in, so I'm going to replace the x with whatever value I've chosen, and that'll give me my y value. So when I plug in negative 2, it means negative 2 times negative 2, and a negative times a negative makes a positive. Next, when I plug in negative 1 and I square it, you get negative 1 times negative 1. Again, two negatives make a positive. In the next one, I plug in 0 and I square it, and that's an easy one because I get 0. Get 1 squared, which is 1 times 1, and then we'll have 2 squared, which is 2 times 2. Okay, so the next process is to draw the x and y axis. Oh, that was a weird arrow. And again, I want to, I might spread it out a lot this time. So this is negative 1, that's negative 2, that's 0, we'll make that 1, and that 2. And then along the y-axis, I've got a little bit higher numbers, so I'm going to make them not quite so far apart. There we go. So this number here is 4, and this one under here is negative 4. So let's start graphing these. So the first number or coordinate pair that I have is negative 2, 4. So it's left 2, up 4. So again, I'm going to label these with capital letters because it's a lot quicker than labeling them with the coordinate pair. Okay, so I've got my first point there, point A. Next point is negative 1, 1. So it's left 1, up 1. The third point is 0, 0. So I'm going to call that C. D is 1, 1. And E is 2, 4. Now, had we only graphed negative 1, 0, and 1, it would have looked like a V graph. As it is, whenever you have an x squared, it takes more of a U shape. So try to make it nice and rounded on the bottom and make it more of a U shape. Okay, so there's a nice y equals x squared graph. You've got quite a few of these to do for homework tonight. So if you have any questions, make sure you email or you post a new discussion. Thanks, and see you later.